So we want to welcome everyone.
Oh,
And then just as you're coming in, for people who are joining, if you haven't done this before, if you're on camera, we might have you go off because it might make the bandwidth better. We're welcome everyone. If you're here for the culinary medicine class, you're in the right place. We also might ask you to mute if you, we'll give you a little demonstration, but Heather, I just want to double check. I see your lovely PowerPoint right in the center. And then maybe when we're done, what we can do is teach people how to click on like I'm doing it for 1 second and then I'll take it off, the spotlight for everyone. If I do that, I just want to know, I don't think it changed it. There we go. No, it didn't really change it. Yours is still in the middle. I'll stop spotlighting, but when we are done, we'll just tell everyone not to worry and we'll make sure that our kitchen setup is front and center during the time. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Perfect. And then I'd like to see that everyone's joining in and everyone feel pretty comfortable in our nice Teams environment. You can always chat in if you've done this before. If not, Heather, I don't know if you want to give a thing. Are we doing okay? Everyone feel comfortable in here? We can always have our hands raised if you do, lower if you don't. But
Jimmy.
Yeah.
There you go, Jimmy. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, is that Jimmy from Healthy Balance? I always think of Jimmy from Healthy Balance. Yes, right on. Nice to see a familiar face. Or text, I don't know what you call it. Glad you could make it.
All right. So again, Alyssa, if you want, you can, I love your Eat Fresh, but if you don't want to be on camera, you can always, there you go. We love your beautiful face though.
I was just getting the lentils together. I've got all these pretty.
Yeah. Hi,
That's
Kirsten.
good.
I recognize Kirsten from Healthy Balance. Hello.
Hi.
Glad you could make it.
I'm trying to turn off my video. There we go.
Yeah, so sometimes we do, I'll wave hello. Hi, it's Allison here. Sometimes we do ask people to turn off their videos so we have the videos up, being the ones that you can see, because we should have a good amount of people today. So hi and welcome. And how about, you feel comfortable, Alyssa? You got it all set the way you want?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Alyssa, the cooking part, we can go with your flow. Just know I have the recipes on a PowerPoint slide, so we can pull that up. I'll pull one up at the beginning. Maybe you can just review the red lentil, then can demo, and then we can pull the other one up later. So okay. you can drive the bus. We'll co-passenger.
Great. And then also for everyone who's joining in today, we're going to get started in a few minutes, but if you don't mind muting your microphone as you come into class, that would be fantastic. If anyone has a question or doesn't know how to use the Teams environment, let us know. Heather's going to walk us through that in a minute.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, we would also ask, since I see that happened, if you see a little button that says take control, try not to push that, but I know it's tempting, right? We all want to take the control.
Yep.
We want to take control, but we ask you to just not take that one, because then it will take over the slides, and then I don't have access to them.
I wonder if if I do it on and off, does it go on and off? See, there's all these
it
fun
does.
buttons.
I see little happy faces bubbling up at the bottom of my screen.
That was me laughing at you, Heather. So everyone else, I'm not laughing at anyone else. You're all in the right place if you're here for the culinary medicine class. We're so excited. Look at how nice you look, Alyssa. We're letting you stay front and center because you're our chef. So we'll get started in about a minute or so. You're all in the right place. How exciting. And again, you guys, just so we know if you're comfortable, there's a little chat. Feel free to chat in and say hello in your chat so we can see if you're with us. I'm going to chat in now, so it should pop something up, hopefully. And everyone, if you see welcome, go ahead and click it. If you don't, there's a little text box that looks, oh, there we go. I see John, of course. John, you can say hello to us. But anyone else, if you're just joining in, feel free to chat and say hi. Let us know you're with us. You can see our PowerPoint. We're so happy you're here.
Hey, Robin. All right, Diane, welcome. First time here. Nicole. Fantastic.
Hi, Lori, you're in the right place. I see you. And you're like, wait, I don't want to be seen, but it's so nice. Say hello, and then you can hide. You can hide your video anytime.
Oh, she's actually in her kitchen too. No.
I love it.
She's ready.
I'm going to do the same. I'm going to join in like this for another minute, and then we're going to ask everyone to turn off their video so we can have, like right now, everyone should see the wonderful PowerPoint in the center. In a minute, we want to, when we're done with the PowerPoint, we're going to have our cooking picture in the front. So if you can mute and take your photo off, that would be fantastic. Okay, so if you're, and then just to let you guys know, if you get muted and you don't know why, it might be me helping you mute. So if you're muted, that might be me doing that, okay? Let's see. So if you can mute on your own, that's great. And then Heather, hi, Dr. Jen. Okay.
Hey, Karen, can you at least come in here?
If you guys can mute for me, that would be so fantastic. I can try.
Is that in Carolyn? Yep, there we go.
Okay.
Thank you for muting.
We have a meeting guest that's a number. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. You guys are doing great. You got it. Heather, I'm going to hand it over to you to get us started.
Yeah. Okay.
How about that?
Well, yeah. Welcome everybody to the culinary medicine class. We're super excited to see the group here today. And as Allison had already started us off with, just want to review a few housekeeping things because we do have a pretty large group today. So if you're not familiar with Teams, this is just a little review for you. Like I said, we do have a big class. We're going to ask that you folks stay muted during the time that we're together, just to minimize that background noise. In fact, I do hear some background noise now. I'm not sure where that. Oh, there.
I'm there. That's me, you guys.
I think it was Carolyn.
Muted, it might be me. I'm muting you too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Yeah,
I'm going to keep muting you, Carolyn.
Yeah.
There you
go.
go.
On the screen here, you can see there's a toolbar, you guys. So if you're having trouble finding, well, where do I mute and unmute? There's a toolbar there. There's that yellow arrow, and it's pointing right to the microphone button. So if you click on that one, it will mute you. They're here to hear them trying to figure it out. And
okay,
there's a camera
I'm going to try to do it again.
Which one are you?
You guys, don't worry if you can hear me in the background. Carolyn, can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to keep muting them, you guys. No, I got it. I got him. I'll help him out. You go, Heather.
Okay.
I'll help drive the boat.
All right, very good, very good. So anyway, as you can see, we do try to mute just to minimize the background noise so we can all focus our attention on our amazing chef that we have with us today, Chef Alyssa, and I'll introduce her in just a moment. Of course, we encourage questions and interaction as we go along. Please feel free to chat them into the chat box. Allison has been kind of typing in there, hi, hello, so hopefully you can find that feature, that little icon there. If you have a question, you could also have the option of raising your hand if you want to get fancy. There's a little happy face icon. It's got looks like a palm. And if you click on that, it'll raise your hand, and that lets us know that you might have a question or something you want to share. And then to lower your hand, you click it a second time and it will lower your hand. So again, either through the chat or raising and lowering your hand, those will be our main forms of interaction today, so that we can all enjoy this time together. So real quick, want to highlight our group that we have with us today. Let me get on camera here real quick. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome. My name is Heather Charles. I'm the health education coordinator for the island of Maui. I'm one of the wellness coaches. Super happy to have you guys here with us today. And then we've got my colleague, I'm going to point over to her. Allison, are you that direction? She is on the Big Island. You wouldn't know it because she's in lavender fields over there, but yeah, so she's here with us today.
And then we've calm, Heather. It keeps me calm.
We've got our amazing Chef Alyssa Alyssa with over 25 years of experience. I know she's well versed in this area of cooking, and not just cooking, but cooking with good flavor and good nutrition. So super excited to have her with us today. And we are your 3 folks that will helping to monitor and share this information on your journey towards plant-based cooking. So did I forget anything so far, Allison? We got everything?
No, all I would
Okay.
say, just so you guys know, not that we don't want to see your lovely face, but if you turn off your video, it allows more bandwidth for when we show the cooking demonstration, because we have a lot of people. But it's not a problem. We love seeing everyone. But just in case you see yourself on camera and you have the ability, there's a little place. It seems like everyone's got it. But
Yeah.
bear with us. It's a big ship, and we're all trying to drive it together. And that was it. You got everything, Heather.
Perfect. All right, then I want to just highlight this quote. Maybe some of you might have heard this before. It's eat food, not too much, mostly plants. So we kind of boil it down into these 3 statements, and it encompasses everything of what we're trying to promote in this class today. And this is from Michael Pollan. He's an American author, a journalist. He's written lots of books about food and health, and it's really what this program is all about, is how to get these plant foods into our diet in a healthy and nutritious way, tasty way, I should say. Now, Michael Pollan is also part of a video series that Stanford put together in 2016 on food and health. It actually has 17 videos, which might sound like a lot, but you guys are only about 3 to 5 minutes in length. And each one gives you really practical skills and information on how and why we can eat healthier. So we're going to be sharing some of these videos in our classes. We have one we want to share with you today. And then we just encourage you to check the rest of them out on YouTube on your own time. I'm going to be putting the link to that in the chat after we show our video for today. So one we're going to show today, it's actually called Eat Food, Not Too Much, Mostly Plants. I'm going to put that on the screen here, and then we will jump back into some of our cooking. So bear with me as I switch my screens here.
Okay, and I see Keone,
Yeah.
I saw that you might have lost the PowerPoint. Let's see when we get the video up if you see. Okay, good. We want to make sure everyone's on board, and we got it. Sometimes it can be a little quiet, Heather. Don't forget to turn the volume way up on our video.
Yeah.
And I'll let you
Got
know
the
if I can
volume
hear it.
up. Do you see my screen?
I can see it. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, let's
You
see
can
if we
see
can
it.
hear it.
Okay, great. Let me push play, and hopefully we can all hear it well.
About our modern food
Yes.
environment.
All right, enjoy, you guys.
In search of simple rules. This is why so many fad diets gain a following, even when there's very little science behind them. People want easy to follow dietary advice, but the human diet is inherently complex. Having said that, there are simple ways of wording sound dietary advice. Here's one of the best examples. Michael, you use a simple framework for delivering a lot of your advice on how to approach one's relationship with food, and what comes to mind is your kind of mantra: eat food, not too much, mostly plants.
Well, coming up with those 7 words, which I'm afraid will be on my gravestone unless I come up with something better soon, is the result of a very long process of examining the science of nutrition. But as I got deeper and deeper and deeper, I realized, well, actually, the key issue is, are you eating real food, or what I like to call edible food-like substances, which is to say processed foods. And so the phrase eat food, I realized that's really what you need to know to eat well. Eat food, by which I mean real food. But then I realized that isn't quite enough, because we're also eating too many calories. So not too much became part of the mantra. And then lastly, I was like, well, within the range of foods, is there a class that's better than another class? And one of the things we know is that people who eat lots of plant foods tend to have much better health and better longevity than people who eat a heavy meat diet. So mostly plants. Not all plants. Mostly is, I'm trying to be very reasonable, and although it tends to offend both vegetarians and carnivores when you say mostly plants. So eat food, not too much, mostly plants, is basically, I think, all you need to know. Now, eat food is probably the hardest part of that to understand. There's all that stuff in the supermarket food. Well, I would argue it's not. And I would argue a lot of it are relatively new, highly processed, edible food-like substances that really are what gets most people around. They tend to have lots of refined sugars, lots of refined fats, and very little fiber, very little of the antioxidants you find in plants. And basically, they were designed for long shelf life, these processed foods. And the way you make a food last longer is you take out what is nutritionally valuable. I'm talking about omega-3 fatty acids, I'm talking about fiber, all these things don't store well. So we've gone down a path of eating a lot of things that shouldn't be dignified with that beautiful word, food.
Replacing the highly processed food in our diets with reasonable amounts of real food, including plenty of plant-based foods, is sound advice for people who want to protect their health. And Pollen's mantra, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. These 7 words can be a helpful guide for anyone who wants to keep it simple when it comes to choosing food.
All right, you guys, I'm
Okay.
so
Yeah.
sorry if you couldn't hear it well. We will work on that for the next time for sure. Do you have the link to that, Heather, that we can put
Yeah,
in
I'll
there
put
so
it
everyone can
in and just when Chef
Yeah.
gets cooking, I'll put that in there because I got to get to a different spot to get it.
Okay.
So,
Is it possible? Do we need are you going to put the PowerPoint back up or do we want to tell them about? Okay. Heather's going to put the PowerPoint back up, but don't worry if you see that
just
beautiful.
briefly,
Yeah, we're going to get the other.
we're getting to that part.
Yes, I promise.
All right. There we go. Hopefully you see this back up on the screen. All right.
There it
So,
is.
yeah, so real quickly, you guys, and I'm sorry for the sound quality I don't know if everybody had trouble hearing it or if it was just a few folks in the mix, but either way, sorry that didn't come through as clearly as we had hoped. But I think, again, it summarizes it here, right? Eat food, not too much, and mostly plants. And the goal is to move away from our processed foods and to naturally, by adding in more of the whole foods, we're less likely to get the foods that are higher with saturated fat or cholesterol or things that are linked more with chronic diseases. And we sent you some links in your invite to some resources. So we just want to reference those as well. We sent you a resource sheet. So if you want to dive more into the subject matter of why might this be a good choice for me, there's movies, there's websites, there's books you can read to kind of refamiliarize yourself with this topic. And the other one is this healthy plate idea. If you've been to any of our Kaiser dietitian classes, we talk a lot about the healthy plate. And this one is specific to plant-based healthy plate. So the idea is making half of our plate filled with colorful vegetables, a fourth of it with a whole grain, and the other fourth with a protein that might traditionally be, right, chicken or fish or beef or pork. But in this program, we're going to be showing how you can switch that to a plant-based protein like lentils or beans or tofu, along with all of those colorful vegetables. So again, these are just references, resources we have included for you to continue to move in this direction. And with that, I know we want to get to the highlight of the class, which is chef cooking. And so we've got our recipes. Hopefully you guys also saw in your bookings confirmation, there's a link to the recipes that she's going to be preparing today. So a red lentil curry and a Mediterranean lentil salad. So Chef, on the screen here, I do have the red lentil curry, and then I will pass that to you. And then I don't know if you want to go through the recipe a little bit first, and then I'll be happy to take that down whenever you're ready, and we will highlight you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's easier probably for me to just look at what I've got here on the table. So I'm going to take my camera off and just talk it through. Okay.
That sounds good. You guys can all see and why don't we practice quickly while she's doing it? Hands up. You guys all see the recipe on the screen, but just raise your hand if you guys can see that. Do you guys have the red lentil curry and you can hear? Okay, fantastic.
Oh, wow, these guys are good. Look at all those hands going
They
up.
got it. Awesome. Go for it,
on.
Chef. It's all
Okay.
yours.
All right, so what we're going to start out with is just a light oil, a coconut or other light oil. It's not really strong in flavor, and we're going to heat it up, and we're going to add some chopped onion. I've got red onion today, and then once that starts to cook a little bit, we'll add in the garlic and ginger and the curry powder and chili flakes, and we'll just stir that a little bit. Want to make sure that the garlic does not burn. And then I have some rinsed red lentils, and I'll show you. I've got, well, you'll see right there, I have it on the camera, all my different colors, bags of lentils for you to look at. Lentils, and then some crushed tomatoes and cilantro and water. And we're going to add a little bit of coconut milk, and then we're going to bring that up to a boil, reduce the heat, and then simmer for about 20-25 minutes.
I'm going to just quickly interrupt. Just a quick question. The light oil, are you talking like vegetable, canola? Is that what you mean? Just so people, that was a question really quickly before we moved forward.
Very good question. With this recipe, because there's coconut milk in it, you can use refined or unrefined coconut oil. The unrefined will have the coconut flavor. Refined means that the flavor has been taken out. And yes, so it'd be canola, it could be avocado, it could be, I have almond oil and macadamia nut oil at home right now. All of those can take high heat and they're very mild in flavor, or canola oil. Yes. So hopefully that's answering your question.
Perfect. Thank you. And I know when you demonstrate, they'll see it, but just want to get you when I get to see some questions.
Yeah, no, thank you. And then, and then we're just going to simmer it till it is cooked. With the red lentils, they break down. They're so small and they cook quite quickly. That's what's so wonderful about working with red lentils. And then if you also stir it when it is done cooking, it kind of dissolves into it. It thickens the curry. So it's just a wonderful lentil to work with. And then we're going to just top it with a little drizzle of additional coconut milk that's been reserved on the side, and some cilantro. And then you can put in a little squeeze of lime to kind of bump up, give it a kick before you enjoy it and have it for your meal.
Awesome. You're making me hungry. I think we all want to see you do it. I think we should take this down, Heather, and put her center stage. What do you think? What do you think? Anything else you want to add before we get you going, Chef?
Did you want me to talk about the Mediterranean lentil, or were we? Oh no. Okay, we're going to talk about that after.
Yeah. What I do want to do is I'm going to put you guys, she's taking it down. If you don't see the chefs when you're ready, Heather, you can go ahead and take down your PowerPoint. I'm going to try to spotlight the dish in the middle. If you see it and it's a small little icon in the corner, you can always right click your mouse and it would say spotlight and it should show it in the center. Because right now, Heather, we see your PowerPoint.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to stop sharing the PowerPoint.
Just, I wonder if you can just take it off. Let's see if we can just.
Or maybe you can share.
Let's see if I can. Yeah, there we go. Can everyone see hers in the center now? She should be in the frame. Do you guys see that? Go ahead and chat in. Do you see the nice video? No, okay. If you don't, just so you know, can you see it as a small thumbnail at all? I'm going to fill the frame. I'm going to see what happens. Or if you right click, let me stop spotlighting and see if I can spotlight it again. Hang on 1 second. All right. I'm going to spotlight it now and see if people see it. If it's a small thumbnail for you, you can always drag your mouse over it, or you can try to click on that small thumbnail and it should say fill frame and it should come into the center. And go ahead and start talking, Alyssa, and maybe it'll come and bring you up center too.
Okay. Well, what I have here is I just wanted to show just all the different kinds of lentils that are available. I mean, there's more, but what I found in the stores. So if let's see, if I put this up a little closer, I don't know if that's going to help. What I'm going to do is I think I'll do one at a time. So this is brown, and also commonly known as brown and green lentils. Does that help?
That's great. And yeah, you can show them, or else you can show them as things are cooking. It's up to you.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just do this real quick. So this is the brown green lentils. And then they have these small little black lentils. They're also known as beluga lentils. And then this is called brown, another type of brown lentil. And actually what it is, it's the ones we're going to be using today, which are the red lentils. It's with their skin on. So if you look underneath, if you can kind of see, they're kind of the orangey color underneath, which is kind of fun. And then the Mediterranean lentil salad we're doing after the curry is, it works really well with these French lentils. You can use any lentil, but the French lentils will hold their shape when they're cooked. So you might want to look for them in the stores if you're going to make the salad. Hopefully that was a little help on all the different kinds that are out there. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started with the curry. One of the things that I did not talk about was, you don't necessarily have, if you cook without oil, you don't have to add oil in this dish. You could saute it in a little bit of water, the onions, or you could just put everything in with all of the, just the liquid, the water and the tomato and the lentils. You could just put all the spices, if you don't want to cook with oil. So just something to think about, different options. So what I did was I've got my burner on, and I have my light refined coconut oil that I'm adding in. This heats up really fast, so I've got to kind of move fast once it's hot. So I got my onions that are chopped, and I'm going to saute these until they start to soften. And then when these start to soften, we're going to add in some minced garlic, some ginger, which I peeled and I shredded. Let me turn this down a little bit. So I want to show you, you can, peeled or grated. So you can grate your ginger using any of these tools, and then it won't leave big chunks. I mean, of course, you could just chop the ginger, but if you like it where there's not big chunks, you can grate it, peel it, and grate it against one of these tools. And then we have curry, and we have chili pepper flakes, kind of the ones you use when you are, eating pizza, those kind of chili pepper. So I'm going to add in my ginger now.
Okay, we have a quick question. Is it 2 thumb-sized gingers, or is it just, can you kind of?
2 inches, but this would be probably about 2 inches. It's a good chunk. But once
Great.
you peel and grate it, it's a lot less. Okay, and I'm going to, I want to add in my garlic when I don't want it to burn. That's always the big thing. And the curry powder. Okay, and then I'm going to add in the lentils, which I've rinsed. Oh, and they're sticking. Oh, okay.
But now you're like a true cooking show, because that's what happens with those lights and camera and action. That always happens.
And I've got the crushed tomatoes. And I've got my water, and it calls for 2.5. I'm going to measure with my tomato. Okay, so that's 2.
Okay, we have a question for you. How many of those were you holding? Was it 2.5 cups? And you said about a 2-inch piece of ginger, right?
Is that 2 questions? I'm sorry.
Yep, so 2.5 cups of water was what you just added? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
I think it says it in the recipe.
Perfect.
Yes, for 4.
And the crushed tomatoes come in a can. I think you can just buy those at the store, right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, just comes as a crushed tomato. Yeah, you don't have to be home crushing your own tomatoes.
Oh, no. And then the cilantro. Yeah, you know what I do is I tend to buy, if you when you go to the grocery store, you know, I go to all of them, but Safeway just seems to be kind of closer. But sometimes they'll have the big cans on sale, or they'll offer the big cans, which are what, 32 versus the 15 ounce. And the prices often are less than if you bought 2 of the 15-ounce cans. So I will, which is what I did with this crushed tomato, I buy the big can, and then I'll just freeze the rest, or put it in a glass mason jar and keep it for, you know, a week or something. But if you're not going to use it for a while, you can just freeze it, and it's more cost effective.
Great idea. We have another question for you, Chef. Can you use vegetable broth, or is it best to just use the water?
You know, you can do either. The one thing I find with vegetable broth, though, if you get the packaged broth, is it tends to be really concentrated in flavor. So what I do is if I use like the box kind vegetable broth, and it calls for 2.5 cups of water, I might use 1/2 cup of broth and 2 cups of water, because otherwise you get a really strong broth flavor, broth concentrate flavor. That's just what I found. Now I don't use the powdered broths that much, so that would probably be different. Follow the instructions on the container. But it's a great segue, thank you, because what I try and do is I try and make my own broth. And so I take the peelings of like celery, and if it's like organic onion, I take that thin skin on the outside, carrots. You can pour water over and simmer this down with the bay leaf and then strain it, and you've got a great broth that you've made yourself. So I try and do this throughout the week, just keep a bag in the fridge, and then at the end of the week I will make my own broth. It's just something to think about.
That's a great idea.
So now I've got it boiling. I'm trying to get that the red lentils that was kind of chunked up there separated. You can see a couple pieces. And then I have coconut milk. So I'm going to add my coconut milk.
Is that the full fat one or the regular? That, you know, I'm sure people might have some questions about that. You know how they have different ones?
Right. I tend to buy the full fat ones, but you know, you can really go with whatever your comfort level is. But I wanted to show you, I got this the other day recently. So can you see it?
Yeah, perfect. Wow.
Coconut milk powder. So what you can do is add hot water, and you can add the coconut milk to your desired thickness and richness and consistency. So that's kind of fun. And you can, you know, it's equivalent to like 6 cans of coconut milk. So you can use it as you want.
Wow.
Yeah, right? So
I've not seen that before. That's great.
So I use that today. And just a quick aside is I made some brownies yesterday, and I did like a ganache using that and the creamer, you know, with the cocoa powder and some maple syrup, and it made this wonderful like ganache kind of frosting that I put on top of the brownies. So there's all kinds of ways you can use it. So this is coming up to a boil. I've got it at 450 on high, and then once it starts boiling, I'll reduce the heat, and I will simmer it for about 20 minutes. I'll check in at 20 to see where it's at.
Fantastic. Can I just clarify? We had a question in there about the veggies. So just to say, the veggies she was showing was just to show how when you have cut up all those vegetables, you can make a broth. You don't have to add them in. That's just a side little bonus of what you can do with your extra veggies.
Leftovers, instead of throwing them out or putting them in compost or whatever, you can keep like a little broth pile, you know. And then I'll transfer this to a baggie, and I'll, you know, as I have carrots for salad or, you know, whatever random things, you can just put in. There are certain ones that can make your broth bitter. I think they say no cabbage. I'm trying to think what else. I think you can put tomatoes. There's a couple things, like you probably wouldn't want to put daikon peelings in your broth.
That's good. You got that as a question. And another one I think that's really good to point out is I see Lance wrote about, do you have to hydrate these beans? And you want to talk about the nice part of red lentils. So that was a question. Do you have to hydrate the beans prior?
No, no, you don't. I just rinsed them because lentils and all the lentils, they say to rinse, that there might be like little particles. Sometimes there's stones. I haven't seen really much dirt or sticks or stones in the ones that I work with, but it's always good to kind of give them a rinse, just like grains. And that's why it was all stuck together. Because I rinsed it. So at this point in time, I'm just going to reduce the heat and I'm going to let it simmer. I'm going to put the lid on for a bit. I know it doesn't say, but I don't want it to the liquid to cook down and cook off. So I'm going to turn it down to simmer, put the lid on, and I'm just going to check it and see how it's doing. You know, it really depends upon what kind of cook surface you have. And because I'm working on an induction burner, which is not my general mode of cooking, I tend to, if it's something, you know, then I will check back because I want to make sure I'm not like boiling it down too fast versus if I'm on my stovetop that I work with every day, you know, I have a different kind of a comfort level. So I just want you to know that's why I'm doing that, because this tends to run really hot. Okay, so I'm going to set the timer, check it in about 15, just again, because I said this isn't my my regular mode of cooking. And then we can talk a little bit more about, I can show you how to peel and grate ginger. We can move on to the Mediterranean lentil salad if you'd like to. So I'm kind of open to what you would like to do in the next step.
Great. Heather, what do you think? I don't know, I don't want to move anything. Is it easy for you to kind of talk about maybe the salad a little bit, and we can do
we
the
have
cooking?
a request for the peel and grate the ginger. So
Okay,
I think
great.
we can do that.
Okay. And then I was just going to clear this space and then make room for the next salad too after I demo that. So that we,
perfect.
yeah. So
And we got a little request. I was saying we heard some birds. That must be outside your beautiful home.
Yes, I have parrots that come into the trees, so it's kind of fun. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do this over because the camera is here, right? And so I'm going to show you. I generally use either a spoon, kind of a thin edge spoon, where you can peel your ginger, starting at the cut edge. That makes it easy. And what's nice about this is that you can get in all the different like grooves, you know, like this one has a little armpit over there, or little.
Yeah, that looks better than how I try to do with a knife, and then I cut away like half my ginger. So
Yeah.
It looks like a much better way to preserve the ginger.
Use like you're saying, like a little paring knife.
Yeah.
You can do the same. It's kind
I have
of
another
like, yes.
question for you. You know, I was watching a cooking show and they had this chef who does Thai food and he doesn't take the skin off. He goes, but he, dices it up. Have you ever used ginger with the skin?
If it's that young ginger, at certain times of the year, they have that beautiful, like white, thin skin ginger that they do pickled ginger.
Oh, yes, I've seen that.
Otherwise,
it's
transparent.
Yeah.
Woody, huh? Because I just thought that was interesting. I've always struggled getting the outside off.
Yeah, no, I generally don't. I don't add, and I do try and as much as possible. Personally, I try and do organic, so it would be. For me, it would be, would I want, I don't know if I'd want the skin of a ginger. I don't know,
Yeah, maybe that was just for the dice or something, but perfect. You made that look so easy.
I do have, I used to work over at Kukua Market down in the university area, and I had a coworker, and he used to blend, big chunks of ginger like this. He would chop it up, not peeled like you're talking about, and he would blend it in a Vitamix with water, and then he would strain it, and then he had like this concentrated ginger juice. So it's kind of like you could do that too, right? And if you use a lot of ginger in your cooking or in smoothies or whatever, you could make this ginger concentrate. Sometimes I do that when I make like an iced tea. I'll make a ginger concentrate and strain it in to just have part ginger, part like hibiscus tea. But that's a really easy way to not even have to deal with peeling. So just a thought.
Great idea. Thanks for sharing that.
Any other questions?
So the ginger, then you just use a regular grater and you just grate it on the small.
These are one of my, I have all kinds of favorite kitchen tools, and I'm a big thrift store garage sale girl. So, or people give me them. But these two I think I got this one at Savers and this one at a garage sale. This one someone gave me. But these are all great things for ginger.
Uh-oh, we just lost your picture. Do you see it, Heather? Maybe it'll come back on. Yeah, we might have to get you to take a peek. Might have hit the camera as you were getting so excited to show us those great graters. We lost your photo.
You're back.
It was me. So, yeah, and the other thing you can do with these is you can use these for garlic. Again, when I worked at Kukua, I would have a coworker and he would grate all the garlic on here. So you didn't have like big chunks of garlic, which I don't like consuming, especially if it was like a salad and it was raw garlic. He used to always do that, the ginger and garlic on these, I think they're called planers or graters, microplane. They're wonderful to have in the kitchen. The other thing I wanted to just quickly note is, I have these chili pepper flakes that I put in the curry, yeah? And these are the kind that's, like I said, you can eat with, you put on top of pizza. But there's other kinds of chilies you could use, right? You could use like the Thai chilies, the fresh ones. You could use there's one I have in the fridge I'll pull out. But it could be any kind of chili. It could be a little bit of cayenne. But these all do really well by storing them in the fridge. If you've got room in the fridge, these will last longer if they are kept cool. So it's just something I wanted. You know how sometimes you see the chili flakes and they turn like they're bright red when you get them and then they turn brown or they start sticking together with age in Hawaii. So it's just something to think about. If you've got room, there's certain spices that are good in the fridge. And I didn't set the timer. So I think I've been at least 5 minutes.
This is good. You can give it a check. Let's see what's under the pot, how you're doing really fast. Let's take a peek.
Here is my, I took it away.
I'm just like a little kid. I can never wait to unwrap a present, right?
Right? Is it done yet?
Is it done yet? Right? It looks thicker. Look at that. Looks good.
Yeah, you can see it's already breaking down the lentils.
Beautiful.
This is a great way to sneak in lentils, right? Because they break down so you can't really like tell it's a lentil. It just looks kind of chunky, right? So if you have somebody that might be aversive to that, you can just be like, oh, it's some,
Well, red lentils are a really nice like starter lentil because it's got that porridgey feeling. It really breaks down differently. So I always think it's a great starter lentil if you have never used lentils before.
Yeah, so don't swap out with a different lentil for this recipe. Stick with the red ones. Yeah.
Red ones are really good with this. Okay, so we've got probably about at least 10 more minutes with this. So I'm going to.
Yeah, I want to keep our time. Let's do the let's go into the salad to take a look so we can get that going while you have that bubbling away on the stove.
So I'm going to put this down, bring out the ingredients.
And I think, while she's getting that, I know there was a great question about chili flakes. I think the key is really to taste, right? Like how you like it. Some people like it a little more, a little stronger or not, right? Some people's eyeball for a quarter teaspoon or a teaspoon, it can be a little bit more, but really think of it to taste. That's the joy of the cooking experience, right? Some of the spices.
And the key with any of these recipes, right, that you can, if you don't like a certain thing or you don't like garlic, right, you can leave that part out.
Right.
Don't like spice.
The oil, the garlic, you can reduce the curry. Just use this if you're not into like really curry. You could use turmeric, also known as Elena. You can do that. This is I want to show you. This is what I found in the fridge, and I really like this chili pepper because it's, I don't know, it's just really like it. It's called oh boy, I don't know if I can say it. Togarashi. Shichimi Togarashi, and it's called Ocean's Hollow. But it's more like kind of like powdered chili, and it's got a little bit of sesame seeds in it. So I would probably use this in this recipe too, if you know, it's something another option that you could use. I cook a lot, so I tend to have lots of different spices and all kinds of things. So it's kind of fun to just show what I found and I like.
Great. Okay, I'm going to have you go forward with the next, but I know that's a, good question we got there about kind of beans and gas cramps, or, I know that, I don't know if anyone's heard of Beano. There's something called Beano that some people can put on their tongue. You can get it at health food stores, and it's supposed to help with gas a little bit if you have kind of that food that really makes you feel a little bloated. I don't know if anyone, or Heather or Chef, if you have any ideas with if you eat a lot of beans, how that works, or if you notice some beans are better than others. Just a good question that I'm sure all of
maybe
us
soaking a little bit beforehand might help with it. And I think just introducing them slowly, so it gives your digestive system some time to adapt. But Chef, any other tips you have for beans and beans and gas?
Sure. No, I think you're right with the idea of the soaking, because the soaking will start the sprouting process, and then that kind of releases the properties that can tend to make you gassy. I think that's always helpful if you can soak, because you'll see that will happen so often with the common green lentils. These guys. It's kind of hard to show you. Let me see. I'm going to take them out of the bag because it's kind of reflecting off of the light. But these guys will sprout super easy. I don't know. Can you see if I go this way? No. That way. Those guys sprout.
That looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think soaking is, a great way. And lentils tend to be easier to digest, especially if everything is well cooked. Than some of the beans. Some beans tend to be a little more, different people have sensitivities to others, but some of them have, the skin can make you gassy. So like chickpeas, their skins come off. That can be things like kidney or cannellini beans or pinto beans that are soft, to me, I find those are a little easier to digest. But I think you just kind of have to do hit or miss, kind of with your own body.
Great, thank you. All right, let's check out the next step. What do you think?
So these are the French lentils, and I'm going to try and bring it up.
Perfect. Beautiful.
Anyways, so these guys hold their shape while they kind of look almost kind of spotted. They're very pretty, but if you can find them in the bulk bin, it's several of the local markets, like Kukua or Down to Earth. They'll have the French lentils. I think at Whole Foods, it's just in a package. Did you want me to talk through the Mediterranean lentil salad?
I think you should, go for making it, and then we can always bring the recipe up afterward. We have about 15 minutes left in class, so we want to make sure you have them all done and plated. And I think the nice thing is these French lentils, totally opposite than the red lentils where they break down porridgey. These really do hold their shape, and they do have a little crunch, right? Not crunch, but a little more texture.
Right. Yes. Tooth feel. So this is how I cooked them. If you cook it in some chopped garlic, a bay leaf, I just put this fresh thyme. I put like the whole stem in, and then it just kind of dissolves out into the cooking beans, lentils. But this is what they look like before you put them in. So this is after they're cooked, and I'm going to put them into a mixing bowl like this.
And how long did that take you to cook, would you say?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay, perfect.
I'm going to take out all my bay leaf and my stems, and I just have these spoons for, yeah, so you might want to just kind of pick through. Turn this down. It smells like it's boiling. And then what you've got is you have sun-dried tomatoes, capers, celery, red pepper, red onion, red cabbage, parsley. So I'm going to add all of these items. I think what I'm going to do is just give me a moment to see how creative I can get. I'm going to go like this. Hold on 1 second.
I know you've got to have a lot of hands, don't you, when you're trying to do it all at once. Perfect. Look at that. You're a true chef.
So what I do is I don't like my onions to have too much of a bite, so I'll chop them. I'll pour water over them and let them sit for a bit. Then I rinse it in like a fine mesh strainer, and then that'll take out the bite. So I've got my onions, and I've got my sun-dried tomatoes that were in
Okay.
Just
want to say that again, because that's such a great tip. So you chop them and let them soak in water for a little bit to get rid of that kind of bite, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thanks, Heather, for writing down. Great idea.
And then I have the capers, and I have celery. So this is a nice, flavorful. It's got all kinds of flavors and punch and textures. It's very colorful. Celery, red bell pepper.
Looks like you're cutting them all to be about equal size. Is that right? Or is that just for prettiness, or does it matter?
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. It's all about the same size. You can do whatever you like, but as long as it gets in your mouth and you can chew it, I think that's the goal. I've got some
perfect answer.
Okay, so I'm just going to give this a little toss. You can add like fresh spinach or like kale if you want, some greens in here. You can add Kalamata olives. If you do dairy, you can have a little feta. You can really play artichoke hearts. Marinated artichoke hearts are wonderful in here. So it's very, very flexible. Anything's, it's all cooking is to taste, right? What you enjoy. So it's really kind of go with what you like. I wanted to make the dressing, and then we'll toss it in. It's a vinaigrette. You could do fresh basil in here. That would be nice. Okay, let me just look and see what's going on there. Okay. Okay, it looks good.
I'm getting hungry already. This is all looking fantastic.
And it seems like as you're making that vinaigrette, and that this is a kind of salad that would taste better the next day too, right? Because it just really soaks up that dressing.
Yes, it sits in and marinates. Good point. So what we've got in the dressing is I've got olive oil, and I've got balsamic vinegar, and I've got some mustard. This is Dijon mustard. I was at the end of the little jar, so I added a little water, so that's why it's kind of watery looking. Want to get everything out of that jar. Agave sweetener, honey to taste. So mine is probably a little less than the amount of the mustard. It's about 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon. And then I have salt and pepper. Aha! I think I forgot to chop the garlic, didn't I? Yeah.
Don't worry, that's fine.
Chopped garlic. I'll add it in afterwards. Chopped garlic, so you see it in there. And that's it. And then you just whisk it. And my timer's going off. Let me go make that be quiet.
Although it's a good point that some people don't like garlic in there, so that vinaigrette would be perfect just as it is. Or you could use shallots, or you could do chives, right? Or any of that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the cooking of the lentils calls for 2 garlics minced. and then you strain it. So you actually have cooked garlic in with your lentils. So if you don't want a raw garlic flavor, you still have some garlic in with your, cooked in with your lentils. So it's just like an added layer of flavor. Okay, so I'm going to put this up here, toss it, get all that in. Like you say, it's very nice to just let it sit. And
Great for
then,
meal prep for lunch too. That's what I like to do lentil salads for, yeah. Put them in little containers. They're ready to go for your lunch for the week.
It really makes a lot with a little.
Mm-hmm.
That could really serve a lot for a party, or it's amazing how affordable, how efficient, how colorful, all of it. It's fantastic.
see how graceful I can be, because both of these are slotted.
We did have a question too, Chef. Someone was wondering whether that dressing could be made oil-free.
Yes. Let's see. So what you could do, you could add a little bit of, instead of sweetener, you could add a little bit of juice if you want, or some liquid, right? Or you could just do it with the vinaigrette.
What about the oil? If you didn't have oil, could you just use like a balsamic or vinegar and then that all the rest of the flavors? Would it still taste pretty good?
Fine. Okay, so I did a little bit of Kalamata olives and some tomatoes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
That's why she's a chef. Look at how quickly she made that plate look beautiful. I like the strawberries. Is that strawberry? Oh no, those are those.
They're little like teardrop. Ow!
Ooh, don't burn yourself, please.
Ooh, that's hot. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good example of how we always have our other things. Our chefs have asbestos hands, but for the rest of us, we always need to have our pot holders close by. But it.
Or you're not doing a demo where you put a cutting board on top of a cookie. Oh, okay, yeah, that was a little one. So, yes, this is done. You can see if I stir it, how it kind of thickens, right? It breaks down. I'm going to turn this off. It breaks down those lentils. What I'm going to do here at this point is add in this salt, because salt, a lot of times salt can make the skins of beans, lentils, pulses. It can toughen the skin, outer skin, so then it makes it hard for the inside to cook. So I tend to put it, add it in at the end. Fresh greens. And then you know, anything that I cook, I'd like to taste it as at the very end. Do you want more? Does it need more salt? Does it need more spice? Does it, what do you want? Punch, a little bit of vinegar or lime. And this recipe actually calls for a little lime on the side and a little drizzle of, coconut milk.
And then when you plate it, we'll remind you not to take the cutting board off again if you need, because that looks gorgeous.
Yeah, and so, right, hold on. So then, yeah, just won't take it off, yeah. So then this is like how you would put it in a bowl with a drizzle of coconut milk, a little bit of cilantro, and then you could put in a nice squeeze of lime over it. And there you go.
That's
Beautiful.
amazing how quickly you made that and how does that for like say it was just me and I didn't have a bunch of people and I wanted to make this recipe. Did that freeze well or how would that be? Does it?
Just this is a beautiful dish to freeze. The salad I probably wouldn't freeze just because you've got the fresh, like the tomato, the bell pepper in there. And I'm not sure how that would, unless you don't mind. The flavor, it's more like the texture should change.
We got a good question. It's like it's a curry or a soup. Can you eat this on rice? Do you ever serve it with anything, or did you serve it just like that?
I would eat it with rice personally. Yeah, some basmati or jasmine rice. I think this would be delicious. And This is actually a recipe that I found from, I think it was on Bon Appetit. So this is one that I've been making for a while. It's nice and simple, but it comes from a, you guys going to help me with the pronunciation? Yotam Ottolenghi? Allison?
I always say his name wrong too. Otto, hold on, I'm writing it down.
But I just wanted to give credit because this is one of his that is just so wonderful and easy to make that I make it all, you know, it's in my regular repertoire because it is just delicious and simple.
I always like to call him Ottolenghi, but I'm going to put it in here. He's a great, does so many great vegetarian recipes. And I know we're kind of down to the 5-minute mark. Heather, you might want to put up just to remind people the recipe and any other questions before we take this one off.
Yes, I can go ahead and do that. Yeah, and any questions that you guys have still about the recipes, feel free to chat those in. We can always stay on a little bit afterwards to address some of those, and hopefully
Everyone's probably as hungry as we are
PowerPoint,
now.
I know, right? I wonder if is anybody cooking with us? I'm just curious.
I know we used to do this
I saw
class
that
where
one
people
person
would
in their
cook
kitchen.
along. Yes.
You guys have dinner ready.
Exactly. Beautiful, Chef. I hope you didn't burn your hand. I hope everyone's feeling inspired. You know what? Just like from in the beginning of class, talking about eat foods, beautiful whole foods, not so much if you're trying to do it for health reasons, and mostly plants and mostly healthy plant-based foods. And that's what Chef is so good at showing us is how easy it can be. Don't be scared of a lentil bean. Don't be scared of trying something new. I mean, that you changed my mind. Before I had never had red lentils and I wasn't a fan of lentil beans because of that texture. And then I got this one that tasted like porridge and I'm like, I'm in and I'm hooked. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
Heather,
and
I
they're
don't know.
affordable, right? I
Yeah.
mean, they're cheap usually to buy, so, and they can make a big batch of something. So if you got a
Yeah.
big family or again, meal prep for the week, these are my go-to things. And it looks like Lori, I think, is cooking with us. So maybe Lori, let us know
Great.
if you get a chance to try it, what your thoughts are.
And then gonna have you move the screen
Mhm.
forward, Heather, because it's on the first slide on mine. I don't know if that's on
Oh,
anyone else's. I
on
still
mine
see
it's,
the
oh, interesting.
everyone can see it. Let me see if I spotlight you. There we go. Now we're at your
Is that
picture
the
with all the lens.
Mediterranean
There
lentil
we go.
salad?
I hope everyone can see
Okay,
that.
great.
There we go. Perfect.
Great. So here's the second lentil salad that she was making. It's up here on the screen here, the Mediterranean lentil salad. It's also in the link to your bookings that you had today. There's a link to this recipe here. I want to also make sure and highlight, this is a great resource, you guys, if you're new to lentils and you know, it's a lot to take in all at one time, lentils.org for more tips with cooking, different types of
I need to
lentils, what
spell it
types of
right. Sorry.
spices to use. That's another great resource for you. Yeah. Okay, and I guess then we'll come back for questions, but if people have to jump off right at 6, I want to make sure and let you know that we will be doing this every month. So every 4th Monday of the month, us 3 will be here ready and waiting for you. We'll be tackling a different plant-based ingredient each time. So next time, March 28th, will be Korean tofu patties. Those are fantastic. They're one of my like go-to recipes that I have.
Right?
And then we got some bean burgers that we'll be doing. So that should be really fun to try. On the screen here, you got all the different dates that are coming up. We will be going through November. I just couldn't fit them all on the screen. So you got them all on there. Reserve your spot, 432-2260. And then if you want some help putting this into practice, you can also partner with one of our wellness coaches. Allison and I are both coaches, and we can do some action planning, right? We can support you with checking in once a week or every 2 weeks. How'd that recipe go? What's the next step for you? And it doesn't just have to be around diet. It could be around exercise, stress management, all sorts of things. And if you want to keep moving in that plant-based direction, we've got a lot of, I call them our a la carte classes. So one-time classes, check out that Viva Veggies, fantastic, taught by our dietitians, really going through the why, the science, and again, encouraging those steps forward on the spectrum of plant-based, mostly plants, right? Did I miss anything, Allison?
No, main thing, you guys, we have so many ways to help you get a beautiful plate in front of you. And if you have any doubt and you want to find out more, you can always call 432-2260. I put it in the chat. That's our health ed number to register for other classes, or if you want to join us for the rest of these classes. We're so lucky to have Chef Alyssa. You've changed the way I eat. You make it look easy. And I'm one of those people who, cooking plant-based is new to me. So really, thank you for that.
Yeah, and I know somebody asked about watching a video if we miss, and I do believe these are being recorded, and then we'll find out a way of, how we'll be getting that out to people that are interested in that. And we're very excited. This is the first of our series, so we'll have all that down.
Loved Nicole's thing also looked up about the baking soda. There's all sorts of theories, but don't be scared of beans. We want to honor your time too, but if you do have any questions and you want to stay on, we'll be on for a few more minutes. But we really encourage you to take this information, take it and share it with your family, share it with your friends, and go get a little more plant-based.
Yeah. All very doable.
Anything you want to add, Chef, before we close out our session?
No, I just had just one tip about, I had an extra bell pepper, and I just wanted to say, sometimes bell peppers can get a little, I don't want to just slippery or slimy if they are cut and you put the rest in the fridge. So what I tend to do is I tend to put a paper towel, wrap it around a paper towel, and then put it in a Ziploc bag, and that tends to keep it longer than just not. Somehow it helps with the cut edge. So I just thought I'd share that.
Oh, great tip.
Thank you. All right. Any questions? All right. You guys, I'm sure they're hungry and ready to go. Thank you. We're getting lots of thank you, Chef Alyssa, for doing that. Really
all
appreciate
the great tips.
Yeah, and your knowledge and your ability to make it look like something we can conquer at home.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Did you try it, Lori? Did you eat it? I think she was the one that was cooking.
Yeah,
she looked like she's enjoying it. Yay.
And feel free if you want to be on screen now. We'd love to see you.
We love testimonies.
Yes. How was it?
We know it's good, but it's great when you guys tell us we know, it's
beautiful.
Good.
Love seeing everyone. Oh, right. Nice, Lori. I love it. Look at her. Look at that, Chef. Can you see that she's make it on her account? That's great. Beautiful. Well done. You guys go be happy cooks. Awesome. Nice. That was fantastic. So glad you did that. These healthy, I love all these healthy, beautiful people. Perfect, you guys. Well done. Thank you, Chef Alyssa. Again, thank you all for joining us. We really are happy. You know what, Heather, maybe we can keep the screenshot on like the phone number for Health Ed if people have questions on the PowerPoint.
Absolutely.
Even though I love that beautiful, healthy plate in front of us.
I know. It is really pretty.
I know.
But again, it is making us very hungry.
I know. You really, there we go. Perfect.
This one?
That's perfect. Yeah, if you guys want to do the other classes every fourth Monday of the month, all the way through the end of the year, we have some great dishes ahead of us. So we're so happy you joined. And thanks, you guys, for being the first round of this new year with us. We're really happy. We're going to work on trying to get the volume up for those videos because those are so good. Maybe we could add that link one more time. It was way back.
Yeah, let me add that link one more time.
To the Stanford. It's such a good one, I really feel like I want to tattoo that. I mean, as a health educator for so many years, trying to think of how to tell people to eat well. I mean, it's such a great thing. Eat foods, not so much, mostly plants. We can remember that. That's such a good one. And it really, same with the healthy plate. If you forget everything else we talked about, if you're looking at that beautiful plate and you see a lot of color looking back at you, you're doing something right. If you have a lot of white, a lot of brown, that might be a little too much rice, a little too much meat, half your plate with vegetables. So come back next month and join us to get some great ideas.
Yeah, and I see some hands up, but I don't know if those were up from earlier. Catherine, did you have a question or was your hand up from earlier?
I think it's probably when I had everyone raise their hand,
Oh, okay.
So, but
Just wanted
otherwise,
to make sure.
we want everyone to go eat, be happy, be healthy, enjoy yourself. If you don't have any questions, Chef, we let you be free too.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your night and the birds and everything. I always love when
Yeah.
you connect in. There's always something exciting happening over there on that island.
Yeah, we have 3 islands represented here, so
That's
isn't that
right.
a magical feat in itself, right?
Fantastic. Well done, you guys.
Hopefully we'll see
Goodbye.
you guys next
Yeah.
month.
Terrific. Take care. Have a good night. All right. Nice to have everyone with us. Again, if you do have a couple questions, if as people are going off, if you have anything, let me know. I'm going to stay on till the end. Make sure you guys can navigate staying on or off. We hope you join us again.